You don't rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your habits. We all want peace, clarity, confidence, but wanting isn't enough. The truth is, your brain becomes what you do repeatedly, not what you hope for. The Stoics knew this long before neuroscience gave it a name. They lived not by emotion, but by habit. Daily reflection, deliberate discomfort, thought before speech. These weren't big heroic gestures. They were quiet patterns practiced daily that shaped resilient minds. Today, you're going to learn 10 Stoic habits. Each one is small enough to start now. Each one is powerful enough to change how you think, how you respond, and how you carry yourself in a world that constantly pulls you off center. You don't need more motivation. You need better habits. Let's begin. Before we explore the habits themselves, we need to ask, why Stoicism and why habits? Stoicism was never just about philosophy. It was about practice. Marcus Aurelius didn't write meditations to publish a book. He wrote to train his mind. Epictetus didn't lecture about detachment to sound wise. He taught it because he had nothing to cling to but his discipline. The Stoics understood something we're only beginning to rediscover. You don't think your way into better living. You live your way into better thinking. In modern terms, your brain is plastic. It changes based on what you repeat. If you live in reaction, your brain wires for chaos. If you train reflection, your brain wires for clarity. Habits are not small. They are the architecture of who you become. And Stoicism offers habits that don't just build productivity, but build character. Not hustle, but stillness. Not control, but acceptance. Not self-indulgence, but self-respect. In a world that values speed and noise, Stoic habits bring you back to depth and discipline. You don't need more information. You need integration. That's what these 10 habits offer. A return not to the past, but to yourself. These aren't just routines. They're mental disciplines practiced by the Stoics and still relevant today. 1. Before the noise of the world enters, pause. Begin your day with yourself, not your screen. Before the world speaks to you, speak to yourself. Most people wake up and scroll. They hand their attention to noise before they even fully open their eyes. A Stoic doesn't begin the day with distraction. He begins with direction. 1 page from Meditations. 1 sentence from Epictetus. 1 moment of silence to ask, what kind of person will I be today? This isn't about motivation. It's about mental posture. Your first 5 minutes shape your focus. Your focus shapes your mood. And your mood shapes the quality of your actions. Don't let the world program your mind before you do. The Stoic habit is simple. Reflect before you react. Return inward before turning outward. You don't need 30 minutes. You need intention. Start your day like a mind that leads, not one that chases. 2. Imagine losing what you take for granted. Not to suffer early, but to be grateful now. Most people fear loss. The Stoic prepares for it daily. Negative visualization sounds harsh, but it's not about pessimism. It's about clarity. Imagine your flight gets cancelled. Your partner leaves. Your health declines. Don't obsess. Just glance at it, so you won't shatter if it ever arrives. Seneca said, "He robs present ills of their power who has perceived their coming." When you rehearse misfortune in the mind, you soften its surprise. You strip it of control. And oddly, you become more grateful for what is still here, for who is still near. This is not suffering in advance. It's strengthening in advance. 1 minute a day is enough. Picture the loss. Not to become numb, but to become unshaken. 3. Write, not to impress. Write, to see clearly. Your journal is not your performance. It's your mirror. The Stoics didn't write for applause. They wrote to sharpen their minds. Marcus Aurelius never meant for his words to be read. He wrote to remind himself of what mattered, of what to endure, of what to let go. Journaling for a Stoic is not art. It's hygiene. You write not to sound wise, but to become honest. Write down your anger, your weakness, your pettiness. See it, own it. Then ask, is this who I want to be again tomorrow? This is how the mind rewires. One sentence at a time, one day at a time. You don't write to show the world your thoughts. You write to stop your thoughts from ruling your world. 4. 5 seconds of silence can prevent 5 hours of regret. Reaction is easy. Pause is power. The Stoic doesn't aim to feel anything. He aims to rule over what he feels. One of the simplest ways to start. Count to 5 before you respond. Before you answer that text. Before you clap back in traffic. Before you interrupt a silence that doesn't need filling. Those 5 seconds don't sound like much, but they are the difference between impulse and integrity. In that pause, you ask yourself, is this action mine or just my emotion moving without permission? Marcus Aurelius wrote, ask, is this necessary? That moment of hesitation is not a weakness. It's where your training lives. 5 seconds. That's all. Enough to choose your response, instead of letting it choose you. 5. Don't wait for hardship. Train for it when life is easy. Comfort is seductive, but too much of it makes you soft. The Stoics didn't chase suffering, but they didn't fear it either. Seneca slept on the floor. Epictetus walked with a limp. Marcus faced betrayal daily. They understood. You don't become strong by avoiding discomfort. You become strong by choosing it. In small doses, every day. Wake up earlier than you want. Take a cold shower. Fast for a few hours. Sit in silence when your mind screams for stimulation. Each act whispers to the brain, we are not ruled by ease, we are ruled by values. Voluntary discomfort builds the muscle of resilience. Before life forces you to, don't wait for pain to find you. Train for it, not because you want it, but because you'll be ready when it comes. 6. Every day ask, what's mine to control and what isn't? The Stoic doesn't end the day by scrolling. He ends it by sorting. Each night, take 5 minutes. Review the day not as a critic, but as a craftsman. Ask yourself, what did I try to control that wasn't mine? Someone else's opinion? An outcome at work? The way a stranger behaved? Then ask, what did I control well? Your effort, your tone, your presence. This habit builds awareness, and awareness builds freedom. Epictetus said, freedom is the only worthy goal in life. But freedom begins by knowing what belongs to you and what doesn't. Control inventory isn't about blame. It's about clarity. And clarity, done daily, changes the way you carry every moment that follows. 7. Every yes you give without thought is a no to yourself. Say no and mean it. Every time you say yes to something unimportant, you say no to something essential. The Stoic doesn't aim to please. He aims to live by principle. Saying no isn't selfish. It's honest. You don't need to justify your boundaries. You just need to know why they exist. No distractions. No to overcommitment. No to people who drain your peace. Your time is not infinite. Your energy is not bottomless. The world will keep asking, Your job is to guard the gate. Marcus Aurelius said, "If it's not right, don't do it. If it's not true, don't say it." You don't owe anyone your availability. You owe yourself your alignment. Learn to say no. Not with anger, but with clarity. Not to push others away, but to stay close to what matters. 8. Put the device down. Pick your mind back up. Constant connection is constant consumption, and consumption dulls awareness. The Stoics valued clarity above stimulation, and clarity requires space. Once a week or once a day, turn it off. The phone, the feed, the noise. Not to escape the world, but to hear your own thoughts again. We check our devices hundreds of times a day. But how often do we check in with ourselves? Digital fasting isn't about rejecting technology. It's about reclaiming attention. Even 1 hour without screens recalibrates your nervous system. Walk without music. Sit without scrolling. Think without interruption. Marcus Aurelius journaled in silence. You can too. Stillness is not outdated. It's just uncommon. Practice disconnection not to fall behind, but to return to what leads you forward. 9. Don't consume wisdom. Sit with it, chew it, let it change you. Don't read to finish. Read to absorb. The Stoics didn't chase volume. They chased clarity. One sentence from Epictetus, read slowly, can challenge your worldview more than 10 new books. Sit with it. Turn it over in your mind. Ask, where does this apply in my life right now? Seneca wrote letters, not as lectures, but as reminders to friends and to himself. You don't need to memorize. You need to internalize. The goal isn't to finish meditations. It's to let meditations finish something in you. A fear, an illusion, a habit. Slow reading is slow rewiring. Read less, but return more. Because sometimes the line you need isn't new. It's one you weren't ready for until now. 10. Don't attack yourself at night. Just review the day like a calm witness. The day is over, but your work isn't. Not the work of doing, but the work of understanding. Each night, the Stoic asks, where did I act out of fear? Where did I stay true to my principles? No drama, no self-loathing, no performance, just clarity. Marcus Aurelius did it with ink and silence. You can do it with a voice note or a few thoughts before sleep. The point is not to punish. It's to prepare. When you review without judgment, you create space between who you were and who you're becoming. You don't need to be perfect. You need to be honest. And honesty practiced daily becomes character. Let the day end, but let the learning continue. That's how a Stoic sleeps, with nothing hidden and nothing held. One habit changes your hour, but living them that rewires your life. These 10 habits won't make you a Stoic legend. They're not meant to. They won't earn you applause or turn you into marble. But they will do something quieter and deeper. They will carve new grooves in your mind. Grooves that don't chase chaos, but return to calm. Grooves that resist the need to impress and choose the strength to observe. You won't master them all at once, but you don't need to. Just one moment at a time. One habit lived fully. Say no with peace. Pause before reaction. Read slowly. Sit in silence. These are not heroic acts, but practiced daily, they reshape how you move through the world. Not louder, just steadier. Not more powerful, just more present. And sometimes, presence is power. The Stoics didn't aim to impress the world. They aimed to master themselves, one day at a time. And so can you. The world won't slow down for you. It won't get quieter. It won't ask if you're ready. But you can be. Not by changing the noise, but by strengthening the one who walks through it. That's what these habits do. They build the kind of mind that doesn't flinch. A mind that doesn't beg for ease, but seeks what's true. Epictetus said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." Freedom isn't out there. It's here in your breath, in your choices, in your discipline. You don't need more advice. You need a rhythm. A simple rhythm of practice, not for perfection but for peace. Start today, quietly, without fanfare. Let the habits shape the man, not the noise.